Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So today we're going to talk about the possibility of Toyota moving the production of the Toyota 4Runner from Japan to Mexico. So in this video I'll kind of talk through why this speculation or this rumor kind of makes sense and what we can maybe see moving forward if it were to come to light. So with the introduction of the new 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser, we know that they're going to be producing a lot more of those vehicles compared to the previous generation Land Cruiser. We know that, and offering a lot more of it to the United States. So, because the Land Cruiser nameplate is the most iconic nameplate for Toyota, that's their flagship SUV, they're going to definitely continue building that within Japan. They're for sure going to continue building that there. For them to actually make the production numbers of what we're kind of hearing and thinking right now, they're going to need to make room. They're going to need to make room at the Tahara plant for them to actually meet these production numbers and goals that I'm hearing. So right now, they've been producing anywhere from 115 to 145,000 Toyota 4Runners each and every year. Those are pretty high numbers, second really only to the Tacoma. Speaking of the Tacoma, what did we see with that? We saw that production move from the United States over to Mexico. It was about 2 or 3 years ago at this point that transition took place. Originally it was made in the United States, and then they kind of went 50-50 with Mexico, and now fully produced in Mexico. The reason why this possibility kind of makes sense of moving the 4Runner to Mexico from Japan is the introduction of the new global platform, and that is the TNGAF platform that all Toyota trucks and SUVs are produced off of. So that allows Toyota some flexibility to move their vehicles and produce various different SUVs and trucks out of the same exact plant. So could that mean they can continue making the 4Runner, the Land Cruiser, the GX550 all out of the Tahara plant? Absolutely, they can continue doing that, but that would likely require a pretty big expansion of that plant, and they haven't done that. They haven't done that in this last year or two. So it is more likely for them to make room for that new Land Cruiser, the new 2024 Land Cruiser. And by doing that, it makes most sense to move the vehicle that sells the most within the North American market closer to the North American market, Mexico, right? So if we're selling the vast majority of 4Runners here in the United States, it kind of makes sense to move the production just south of us, right? You know, a little bit cheaper production down there, cheaper labor, of course, in Mexico, and that's why they do it. It's a smarter move. Now, personally, like I mentioned, I don't think I'd be too thrilled about that. I take pride in driving and buying my 4Runners, knowing that they're still made in Japan. You know, the fit and finish is always second to none. I've always had great experiences with the overall quality and never had a single mechanical issue with my 4Runners. So I've always had exceptional experiences. I hope that would continue to be the case for the 4Runner if it were to move to Mexico. Granted, at that point, we'd likely see a 6th generation 4Runner amongst us, right? So it needs to differentiate itself enough from the Land Cruiser to still make it a very viable or a desirable option between the two. But we'll likely see a whole new platform being built out of that Mexico plant. Like the Tacoma, we're likely going to see the hybrid iForce Max, the 4-cylinder iForce Max, being the same power plant. But that also begs the question of it maybe being removed entirely, because that is the same exact platform that the Land Cruiser is going to have. You know, I thought for sure that the Land Cruiser was going to share the same power plant as the GX550, which is a twin-turbo V6. I thought we were going to see that without the hybrid, without the battery pack strapped to it. But we're seeing the same exact platform within a brand new 2024 Tacoma TRD Pro, as well as the 2024 Land Cruiser. So now we're going to have 3 vehicles with that same platform, right? Between the Land Cruiser, the 4Runner, and that Tacoma there. New vehicles. So I'm curious to see if the 4Runner still continues to remain an option. I'm curious to see if they're going to peel it off for 1 year while they finalize the finishing touches on the 6th generation 4Runner, so perhaps killing it off for 2024 and then bringing it on in 2025 out of Mexico perhaps with the Tacoma. So I can go on for days about this, but really I just kind of want to pitch this to you guys, see if you've heard this, see if you've heard people talk about this, and really if you would continue to be interested in a 4Runner if they did move production from Japan to Mexico. So I'll wrap up the video there. Let me know what your thoughts are. Appreciate you watching. Until next time.